if Bitcoin can close back above 3880, I think that window is still alive. I think these dips are going to give really nice buying opportunities, but we have to let Bitcoin decide that. Right, so far I'm undeterred. I still think alts could do okay. All right, let's get into the alts. I will definitely answer the question you have. We'll start with Bitcoin Cash. The reason I want to start with Bitcoin Cash is really because I'm quite excited about this swing, and I don't want that to come off as making anyone feel like they should be in it if they're not in it or if they don't like the play. I just try to communicate as clearly and as objectively as I can plays that I have high conviction in versus a play that I have less conviction in. I think that's probably good for any trader, yourselves, to be able to determine, right, an idea or a concept or whatever it is, an entry that you have more confidence in versus less confidence, and also, how well that strategy has been working for you. The way that I view Bitcoin Cash, guys, if we think about ADA, and I think everyone's going to understand this, so I'm going to really kind of rip through this one pretty quick, right? The whole idea with ADA in February and January, even on this most recent kind of second play going into, the end of last week and wanting to now play continuation plays across above 1380, 1400, right? Everyone understands that. The reason ADA was so attractive was because it was still trading in this accumulation range, right? As opposed to most other alts, if you line up the charts one by one, right, here's where almost everything bottomed out, was in December. Most things ran for, until their first high around January, right? So this is kind of the first date to think about. That's the low that almost every major alt found a low. And then you have kind of the first high it ran to, which you can call January highs or December highs, right? And almost every, Litecoin, if you want to look at Litecoin, if you want to look at Tron, if you want to look at EOS, right? Here's that December bottom. Here's kind of where it ran to in December, January, and then it just blasts through that, right? So, Litecoin saw it. A ton of coin, pretty much every coin was seeing that, except for ADA. So that was kind of the clear play as the best value play, I thought, meaning if major alts could do well, then this I thought would move the best, right? And if major alts did bad, if the trend started going down and Litecoin and EOS and ADA all start turning down, I thought this one would kind of drop the least, right? Because it's still priced quite attractively. It hadn't ran to, all the way up here where Litecoin could be and where EOS could be, right? Those were already, already past this level, already up here. So that's kind of just the value reason why I wanted to be in that. Now, if we apply that same thing to Bitcoin Cash and I comparatively say, okay, I kind of have a pretty good understanding of where every other major alt is. So let's think about, those important dates for Bitcoin Cash here. We have the bottom in December. We have that first swing high where it ran to, right, where, ADA ran to, right? ADA, this is kind of that high for Bitcoin Cash, right? And ADA has been the most attractively priced, right? That's why we wanted to be it in February and March, even the second play, right? Now it's 30, 40, 50% higher. If we look at Bitcoin Cash now, and this is why I was pretty excited about it, looking at it going into the weekend, Bitcoin Cash, that high after its kind of bottom where every major bottomed, here's its high in January or end of December, it now, I think, is probably the most attractively priced major. And the reason being the exact same way as, you can compare ADA to other majors and say it's still been in that accumulation, hasn't kind of reached its most recent high or hasn't reached its neckline, whatever you want to call it, right? This is that swing high, or this is that neckline really for ADA. I know every chart's going to be different, coins move differently. I know that, I understand that. But still, there is an element of correlation to these things. And in my opinion, if I'm comparing all the majors and I want to be long majors, Bitcoin might change that today. But still, if I want to be long majors, I just think that Bitcoin Cash is probably the best price based on that. It's the exact same concept as ADA last month, right? It just still has nearly 20 or 30% to run until its swing high from January or December. If you look at Litecoin, now you look at ADA, if you look at EOS, right, all those coins from their December lows up to their swing highs they ran to in December or January, all of them reached that level after playing around in this consolidation or in this accumulation and blasted through. So if I want to be long one major, not just from a big picture conceptual price level, I think Bitcoin Cash makes sense. And then also the fact that this resistance support flip was so clean, that's why I liked it on Friday. The other way that I was looking at this at the beginning of last week was if it could have a confirmed close above this level, right, which was resistance. And it's done both those now. So this little pullback today for me is just another retest. I would love to see it closing above 0.044, but hopefully that explains that idea a little bit more clear. I know I didn't get to cover this one because it was late on Friday and we were going into the weekend, but generally I'm going to continue to like Bitcoin Cash as long as we're trading above 0.038, right? So if I want to have a 5% stop or however tight you want to play that, I'll probably be looking for, as long as dailies are closing above this 0.038, I think I'm fine with it. And I'm really looking for at least kind of that 33%. That would put it to the level that ADA just crossed, right? And then ADA broke out and obviously is moving higher, right? So there could be an even bigger play, just like ADA or just like Litecoin. But even for this one to get, relative or closer to where all the other majors are trading, that's the reason I like Bitcoin Cash a lot. It does not mean that this play is going to work out. Just like ADA, that took a full month and it worked out. This one could take a full month too, or it could not work out. I just think from a conceptual level, from a risk standpoint, it makes a lot of sense. I'd be happy to get stopped out on this or lose this trade because it's just a strategy that I'm going to kind of apply over and over and over. And I think over the long run, from a risk perspective, from a risk profile perspective on being long majors, I just think that play makes the most sense. Right? I wanted to explain that idea in detail. Every single new idea that I have, I try to cover it the most in here. And then we can definitely look at already live ideas.